We wanna fuck with you. Together, we can make real money.
I'm your pusher.
Time to go to work, nigga.
You messing with Nick's brother, but you don't know what the work is.
He is changing up, Rock. He ain't the same.
You're done. Out of business.
You don't decide, but I'm done.
Nobody to work my runs because they're all working for you.
What if I told the cops about what you're doing here, huh? Bet that'd change things pretty fucking fast.
I've seen a lot of grown men get put down by kids out here.
Kanan says you talk a lot.
Welcome back, Top Notch Gang. A few weeks ago, I made a video talking about the alliance that was gonna form between Ronnie and Kanan, and now after episode 6, we are here. And honestly, it didn't even take much work. All Ronnie had to say was fuck Rock, and Kanan was like, okay, cool, I'm in. That's all it took.
Fuck Rock.
Now it's time to dive in all the problems they have and more that's about to come their way in these following episodes. We're in the closing stretch of season 3, and you guys know how the Power Universe is. This is where everything is about to pop off. So I want to dive into Kanan's next body, which I believe will be Paul, the guy he originally went into business with, and the problems between them has already been brewing. And now that he's working with Ronnie, they're gonna need all the bite boys, and that guy Paul is gonna have to go. We already seen Kanan talking about putting him down, so we're gonna dive into the details of that. Next up, Kanan getting robbed at gunpoint with jukebox right there. I've been saying it for the longest. This is Rock's doing it. I said it at the beginning of the season, and I still think it's Rock. I'm gonna point out all the clues, hints of why it is her. The competition between Rock and Marvin versus Ronnie and Kanan is about to brew up for the rest of the season, and this is one of the things that's gonna take place. And last but not least, the question mark for the rest of the season is Famous. We see him talking to Ronnie telling him, I hear you like to run your mouth. We got to see how he'll be utilized, if he'll stay in the game. We saw he finally dropped 411. A lot of people think Ronnie or Kanan will be the ones to possibly take him out. We're just gonna have to wait and see for all that, because he is the final question mark for the rest of the season. As usual though, you guys leave a like, comment, subscribe, and we're gonna go ahead and dive right into it. Now, we just saw in episode 6, Kanan and Paul got into a confrontation because Paul was telling him he don't have no couriers. They're all coming straight to Kanan, and he even threatened to go to the police.
What if I told the cops about what you're doing here, huh?
And this when Kanan told him he's seen a lot of young niggas put grown men down. And what's interesting about this is not the first conversation they had about this.
I can't have you fucking up my real work, Kanan.
In episode 4, Paul came to him as well, said he was losing money. Couriers were even dropping out because they didn't want to do the weed shit, or they were just coming straight to Kanan.
Losing drivers, man. They're either not taking jobs from me and just working for you.
So Kanan paid him extra for that. But in the first conversation as well, Paul told him, I'm gonna need to pick my business back up after you're gone. And Kanan told him, I'm not going nowhere.
After you're gone, I still need a job.
I ain't going nowhere, Paul.
So this is the second time this conversation has taken place, and the second time Ronnie was there for the whole thing. He doesn't like any problems in his way, as we've seen. He already took out Dean, already took out Unique. He handles problems rather quickly, and I think he's gonna want Kanan to do the exact same thing. Now, a lot of people were saying the jacking of Kanan, the kidnapping, the gunpoint shit that's gonna happen, that we're gonna talk about next, but a lot of people were assuming that was gonna be Ronnie testing Kanan, and I thought he would do that prior to getting into business with Kanan, but now that they're already in business, it makes sense that that's Rock. But like I said, we're going to get to that next. I point that out because I still think he's gonna test Kanan, but it's just gonna be with the Paul situation to see if he's really about this, if he's really gonna handle it and do what needs to be done. And Paul is the first step towards that. He already has threatened to go to the police once. Like, you can't keep him around much longer, because if shit get dicey, shit get hairy, cops start sniffing around. They already arrested Famous earlier in the seasons. They have been taking pictures. You can't have someone like that around. So I think Ronnie, obviously the way he is, he could get the kill himself, but I think he'll put Kanan up to the task, let him know that, hey, if you want this to be your courier business, he has to go. He can't continue to be a problem, and I think Kanan is gonna get the job done, take out Paul. On to the robbery or kidnapping that was ever taking place here. This is most definitely Rock, and I'm gonna point out all the clues and signs. First things first, Jukebox is here. Why is this important? We know in the next episode, Jukebox is gonna go back to Rock and tell her that Kanan is in business with Unique's brother Ronnie.
Kanan's changing up, Rock. He also kicking it with some old heads.
Ain't no messing with Nick's brother, but you don't know what the work is.
She tells her that Kanan is changing and everything like that. Now, Jukebox is there in the scene when he get robbed at gunpoint, and we also see in the trailer that Jukebox goes to Kanan's apartment to try to talk some sense into them, and it looks like they have a bit of a standoff, and that's where she sees Ronnie at the apartment as well. So I think one thing leads to another, and Rock will set this up. We already seen her put a gun in her son's bag. We already seen her try to get her son to kill his own dad without letting him know who it was. So I don't put this situation past her. Also, we see in the description for episode 8, it talks about Rock and Marvin start up the heroin business amidst competition from Ronnie and Kanan. So we know it's going to be a back and forth struggle between them. She could attack Kanan directly, but making sure he doesn't actually get hurt. And I think this is where we get the scene from the trailer where she tells him, "You're done, out of business," after she does this to him, because she's going to probably tell him, "Hey, if I was anybody else, you would have been dead, gone,
Out of business.
You don't decide when I'm done.
and tell him you gotta cut this shit short." And he tells her, "No, you don't decide when I'm done." So this is gonna be a first step into more problems for them as well, because once Ronnie finds this out, if Rock really does steal product from them, now they're losing money, and he already been wanting to kill Rock. So this is not a good move on her part, and it puts Kanan in an even hotter seat. And this is very important because we still don't know who this is shooting at Rock in a drive-by, shooting up her car, why they're doing it, or anything like that. There's a bunch of theories out there, but this could possibly be Ronnie or him sending some hitters. Some people think Chantel, after the information she just learned from Lou, could be sending these people. It could be any other sort, just some sort of retaliation. All we know is someone's out to get her, and this could be a consequence of her stealing this product, taking money away from them, especially because Snaps and all the other hitters in the coalition with Ronnie, they're losing money as well. So Kanan and Rock, they have been at odds for the past basically 3 seasons, but I think the height of it is finally about to be reached, where Kanan will have to make a decision if he really hate Rock to the point where he's fine with them killing her, or him possibly having to do it himself, or will he side with her in the end. We will have to just wait and see. Now, last up is the famous question mark. Now, at the beginning of the season, I made dead predictions, and my 3 were Officer Burke, Unique, and Famous. Now, I'm currently 2 for 3, and with the way it's looking, Famous is still possibly on the chopping block. Now, we know, of course, at this point, Kanan definitely doesn't trust him anymore. Let Rock back into the house, put the gun in her bag. He kept the Freddy killing from him, said he don't want him fucking up his business, kicked him out the apartment in the last episode. So they have been pretty much on the outs for the last 2 to 3 episodes. We see going into episode 7, Fame is gonna come back to the apartment. We see him getting into a confrontation with Ronnie telling him, "Kanan tells me you like to run your mouth." And Famous, he looks scared as fuck. Of course, he was scared the first time they seen Ronnie, saying he give him ill vibes, which he does. The nigga is weird, we're not gonna lie. But Famous is at a turning point in his music career, and it says that in the description for episode 9 as well, with him and Jukebox at a turning point in their career, in their lives. Famous, like I said, has just released 411. This is next hit, let's be honest. He hasn't had a hit since Streets Need a Body, and this one probably gonna put him back on the map. But we of course know they're investigating the murder of Freddy, and that could always come back to bite him in the ass. I think he's probably gonna try to steer clear and stay out of their business this time. But if that song does gain popularity, he becomes some sort of liability. I think Ronnie once again could push Kanan to take him out, or I think Famous could possibly be caught up in the crossfire. A lot of people mention how he went on to name his son Sean, Kanan that is. They said Kanan wouldn't do it if he was the one who took out Famous, if he didn't respect him anymore, if Famous became a snitch or anything like that. I think him and Famous will get back cool. He'll find that he really had love for him, and something tragically would just take Famous out the game and away from his music career. What that is, once again, I don't know. We would just have to wait and see. Overall though, that's it for this video. You guys let me know your thoughts and opinions down below of what you think is gonna pop up for the rest of the season. I'm just hoping my dude Marvin good, if I'm being totally honest, and I want to see this beef between Rock, Kanan, and Ronnie escalate as much as possible. As usual, leave a like, comment, subscribe though, and I'm out.